Hey nail sisters, welcome if you're new here or welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how to make your kids' press-ons last where they don't just easily pop off or anything like that. Now, in the first part of the video, I'm going to give you tips about that. And then later in the video, because this video, I did have more footage, it was hard for me to upload using the glue. So I'm going to do that in another video, like share how to work with that. So starting off here, I'm showing you that I did get the Kiss Masterpiece one-of-a-kind Luxe Mani. It does come with 30 nails and also 12 accent nails, and it did come with glue, the alcohol wipe, a wooden cuticle pusher, as well as a manicure a file as well. And then on the back it tells you how to prep your nails and the glue application. Now I will say that the certain glue that you use definitely makes a difference. I feel like the one from Young Nails is definitely a lot better, and the one from KDS, if you can find a brush on one, that one is definitely beneficial. So first you want to do is push back your cuticles, and you also want to remove any dead skin. So basically the white part is the dead part. So the way that you want to do this, and I am using this wooden pusher, you want to gently push back your cuticles. You want to do a circular motion when you're doing this and making sure that you're definitely pushing back the cuticle. You want to do this gently, again, not too rough. You don't want to be digging and poking into your skin or going like straight on. You want to, like, I like to start in the middle and then kind of do circular motions, which you will see here. So this is going to help. See that white part? If you leave all that on here, it's going to pop off and lift. So you definitely want to make sure that you're pushing back your cuticles and removing all of that dead skin as well. You can definitely, like I said, use this wooden cuticle pusher to actually remove that as well and get that off. The number one biggest thing as to why kids press-ons don't last is definitely you have to prep your nails before application. We're trying to remove any oils, shine. So next you want to go in with a file. I am using a 180 grit file. I love these files. If y'all don't have these, definitely get you some. Like, I will leave these down below in the Amazon link. I'm going in and I am removing the shine that is on my natural nail plate. You will see that if some parts still look a little shiny, this is where you want to go in and still remove that with your file. You want it to, at the end, look matte, like you see on the middle and the left side. This is how you want the nail to actually look. You don't want any shiny parts, because that, again, like in that corner, if I leave that like that, it's going to not last and pop off probably the next day, especially once water hits it. So you definitely want to make sure to go in and get all the spots and be very gentle when you do this. You don't want to be removing layers. We're only just removing the oil that is on top of the natural nail plate. So this is how you want the nails to actually look. And after this, I am going to go in and dust that off and use the alcohol prep pad that it actually came with. It did only come with one. So if you are doing both of your nails, you probably need maybe another one. You can just get a lint-free wipe like the one that I recommend by OPI, and you can use that and use Swipe by Young Nails, but I'm using this alcohol pad that it came with. And what you want to do is make sure that you get every corner, like the sides of the nails. You want to make sure that you are wiping that directly downward, in a downward direction, never back, because that's basically pushing it back up. So you want to go, in a circular motion and move and remove any of that, dust that maybe is still on the nail, or any of the oils that's still there. That was the dehydrator. So you want to dehydrate your nails. Next, I'm going to go in with the primer. So I'm basically using the one by Young Nails to do this with, and I am using this very light. You don't need a lot to apply this with. You don't want to use a lot. If you're using a liquid primer, definitely let this dry before applying the press on. You don't never want to let this be too wet and then apply the press on, because then it won't hold. It's just basically going to defeat the purpose of using the primer. So next you're going to go in and place down all of your press-ons. The reason I like to do this, the next part that the reason why, you know, maybe your pressed ones don't last is because you have to make sure that you pick the correct size and fitting. I think the size and fitting is the number one thing that really makes a huge difference when it comes to kids press-ons, because they do come standard size, which means that, you know, the size that they have in the kits don't always fit your cuticles, your sidewalls, you know, the shape of your fingers, you know, your actual shape of your nails. So you definitely want to go in and kind of put the sizes together, like the biggest, the medium, and the small. This is kind of just giving you a visual. I also like to use the coin method, where you can know what size you are, because every shape is definitely going to be different for the size that you pick. So when you're at the store and you're picking these kids press-ons, you know, out, definitely keep in mind the shape of your cuticle. I think that is another thing that causes the nails to lift. If the press-on doesn't fit your cuticle shape, you know, or even your sidewalls, and you pick, you know, ones that are too big or even too small, it can definitely pop off and lift. So what I also like to do is go in and kind of look at the press on. I like to see what areas, you know, I need to go in and actually fix. So here I'm showing you that my sidewalls are not like this. You can see there's like a dip, and the reason that happened because the apex is supposed to be like more in the center area, and it was flat at the end part of that tip, so it caused that kind of like that cave look where it curved in. So I also like to look at the top of the press on to look to see, okay, my cuticle shape may be square on this finger, so this is how maybe I need it, or maybe my cuticle area is round. So this is what I'm paying attention to, so that I know how I want to go in and actually file that. So like I said, again, with the Kiss press-ons, I do feel like you have to make them fit to your the way your nails are, the way your sidewalls are. So I am looking at all different areas to kind of go in and see what I need to actually change, because like I said, again, the sizing and fitting is the number one thing why kids press-ons don't last, because again, they don't come like made exactly for your fingers. So here I'm just showing that, you know, all of our fingers and nails, we all have different shapes of cuticles. So, you know, on some of my fingers, I may have narrow sidewalls, and then some of my fingers, I may have like my fingers are long, so I'm taking into consideration all of that. So here I did take a piece of tape so that I can see the shape of my cuticle, which I already know, but this is kind of a little tip that you can do, you know, to make sure to see. It'll also give you a visual. This is like a rough draft. You can see what areas you need to file off, and it needs to make sure that it lines up with whatever you drew, like on the tape area. I just drew the shape of my cuticle down to my sidewalls, and that tip needs to fit within that part that you actually drew. If it doesn't, then either try a smaller one down. If that's too small and it doesn't cover, then go back up, but then file off all the areas that don't actually fit. And again, like I said, it works the same way, just like shoe size. You know, we all have different shoe sizes. It's the same way when it comes to press-ons. All of these are different sizes for different fingers, different shapes. You know, you may have bigger fingers. You may have small nail beds. You may have wide nail beds, you know, so all of that takes in consideration. And also the shape, like some shapes I do feel like for me don't look right. You know, since I have long fingers, like definitely coffin, ballerina, taper square, those look really nice. When I do almond shape, and especially if they're short, they don't look too good unless they're like medium to long length, and those still need to be shaped in the direction that, like I said, your fingers are. So I'm just looking again to see, you see how the sidewall, like that sidewall is too curved down, and again, my sidewalls don't fit like that. So this is very important. And like I said, again, working with kids press-ons for so long, I know now that it definitely has a lot to do with the sizes that come in the kit. They just don't fit because, like I said, they're standard size. It's like a one size fits all, especially the older ones. Now the gel collection, I do like those much better, which I'll definitely show how to work with those as well. So I'm just going in and shaping the part so that it fits to my side walls, making sure to take into consideration, see how I pull that the curved part that was curving downward. I need it to fit directly how my side walls are, and you can see that it's fitting within that line that I drew around my cuticles. So we're just working on the side walls now, and then you'll go in and work on the actual cuticle part last, which I'll show that in a second. So you can see here how that's fitting way much better. It's starting to look a lot better. And even when I'm filing, make sure that you hold your file in the direction that your side walls are going, your cuticle as well. You can even put it on like this and kind of file while you have the tape and where you marked it so that you can actually see you know, where it needs to actually fit. So again, you do this for both sides, and then we will actually start working on the cuticle area. Now with the cuticle area, again, you want to keep in mind the shape of your cuticles. So like I said, you may have rectangle cuticles, you may have round cuticles, you may have square, you may have squoval, and also you can tell by how your nails actually grow. Sometimes you can look at that as well. So you can see here that some of that is hanging off, and I need to shape it like directly how my cuticles go. Like I said, again, if you don't do this, I do feel like this is another reason why the press ones don't actually last, because again, the sizing and fitting. So I'm going in, making sure to get any areas again and removing anything that is still hanging off or doesn't fit. And you'll see in a second that it's starting to look like it is starting to melt once we get to the cuticle section. And again, also another thing that I can say about the kiss press ones, when you do file, I'll come back to that. So here I'm showing how the shape of my cuticle is. So you can see here I'm showing you the direction that I'm going to file. In that direction, it kind of has like a slanted like round shape. So this is the way that I need to file the cuticle part. What I was saying was, when you do file the kiss press ons, just make sure to kind of be gentle, because the press ons, depending on which one you get, can be very like thin a little bit. So you want to just be gentle. And you know, I feel like these press ons are good, like I said, for just a quick, you know, you're going to the movies, you're going out to eat or something like that. So you know, especially depending on, like I said, which ones you get, because I do feel like the gel collection, I think those to me last a little bit longer than these in particular. But here I'm showing you how to, you know, the direction that I'm like filing my cuticle shape. You know, your cuticle shape may be different, and you can actually file that. So you'll see here in a second, it's going to start to look like it's fitting. And again, if anything is hanging off, you just take that actually off. I do feel like also when you're shopping for kiss press ons, the shapes of the nails that you get, you know, depending on what look you want, you know, does make a difference too. Because like for me, if I pick a shape such as squoval, and I know that my cuticles are not, you know, squoval, some of them. So if I pick that, then it's not going to fit properly. And again, that can lead to lifting and popping off. So here I'm placing the kiss press on. And the way that you want to do this, when you're doing the fitting part, you want it to align exactly directly where your cuticle. See how that's melting, because we filed the cuticle area. We're making sure that it fits. So when you place this on, make sure that it fits snug to your cuticle, because I do also find that if it doesn't fit when you actually place it on there, it can lift on, especially the corners, the corner area. So definitely make sure that when you are placing it on there, it doesn't have a gap in between the cuticle and the press on. You want it to fit very like close to the cuticle, but because if you have a huge gap, then that will definitely, you know, eventually lift. So I'm just making sure to check what areas I still may need to go in and actually file off. So that sizing and fitting is definitely important to make the kiss press-ons last. The next thing that you want to do is, most of the kiss press-ons, the inside is very slick, very smooth. So we want to rough up the surface and etch the surface of the press on just like we did our own natural nails. I am taking this 180 grit file. Now when you do this, you may want to do this before you actually shape the tip, because if not, it can change that shape that we just did for your sidewall. So you may want to do this first. And I'm just showing here, if you don't have an e-file, you can definitely use your file to actually etch the inside. You want it to look very matte. Again, the same way like our natural nails, this is going to remove where we have a rougher surface so that it can actually adhere better to our natural nail plate. And also the product, so that they can bond better as well and last. So this is very an important step as well. I would say to use this file. Like I said, again, this file, I love it. I think it's better than using a file that comes with the kit, because that's a little bit too, it's the texture is very soft. I feel like that file that comes with it is it's too smooth, and that will definitely lead to your press-ons popping off, because I believe it's like, it feels like a 240. So that will definitely defeat the purpose of us making the press-ons last long. So definitely get a file like the one here, and I will leave this down below. Next, you want to go in and you also want to use a primer for your press on. And I'm showing here how you don't want to go back in and touch the press on, because if you go in with your finger and touch it and, you know, try to remove anything, that's basically like you having to start back all over again, you know. So don't touch your natural nails after we've already prepped it. Don't touch the inside of the press on, because you're putting oils back on the nail, and again, that can lead to lifting. So I did apply a one coat of that. I did let it dry. And next, okay, so this part of the video. Now, I know that when it comes to press-ons, you can't use a gel consistency, whether that's like tip glue or like a tip gel to apply the press-on, because when you put it in the lamp, it won't penetrate through the press-on, especially if you have colored press-ons. If the press-ons like these already come painted, then the light can't penetrate through colored press-ons. That's why if you notice in all of my videos, I'm using the tip glue on clear press-ons, and then I actually go in and design them, because again, the light can't penetrate through this. So what I found when it comes to using press-ons with Kiss, I would definitely say if you can find a brush on glue like the one, like I said, from Young Nails, and then, you know, put a dime size on the press-on and then place it down and hold it for a good 5 seconds. That's a lot better to me than doing this, because I do feel, like I said, again, this will maybe only last you probably, I would say, roughly like 2 days. Like I said, it may be something quick for you to go to the movies, out to eat, something like that. But if you're wanting longer than a week, then like I said, again, I do recommend the KDS or the the KDS or the Young Nails glue, and then just use that. But I'll show that in a different video of how to work with those glues, because there is a certain way and you don't want to use too much, you know. So again, like I said, I did start off showing this way, because in my videos, I love to show you all like because there may be someone out there who may be doing it this way and then can't figure out why their press-ons can't actually last long. So I like to always show the wrong way and then kind of explain the reason why. So if anyone is doing this method, this is the reason why it won't last when you use these press-ons with the color. Because like I said, the light can't penetrate through this. It has to be a clear tip and then putting the gel on there. Even though it looks very nice, like I said, it may last you for a good, 2 days, but the glue is definitely going to be a lot better. And if you prep all like I just mentioned in the video, then I mean, it will definitely help you in the long run. So again, if you don't take anything from this video, like I said, again, the sizing, the fitting, and prepping is definitely what's going to help your kids' press-ons last long. And then what you also want to do, if you use the glue method, you want to make sure to not get them wet for a good like 30 to 45 minutes. You don't want it to get, wet just yet. Just let it like settle. And again, you want to hold the tip for a good 5 minutes. And that way, and make sure that you're putting enough pressure, because if you don't put enough pressure, then it won't actually lay flat to the nail. And also I can say some of the kiss press-ons, like the thumb area, there may be like a gap on the corners. So you can definitely make sure to press those areas down, because again, this is what we want. We want it to last long. And if it has a gap on the areas, it's going to lift in that side. Another thing is I can say, make sure to apply enough in certain like areas, like for example, the corners, not a lot, but you do want to cover that kiss press on so that it is going to actually last for you. So those are some tips that I can give. And I just want to take a second to say thank you all for subscribing. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't, if you want more informative videos. Also, those of you who are, purchasing anything from Amazon or BTX Art Box, thank you very much. Thank you so much for that. Here is the final look, and then you can go in and shape them. Now, I know I said shape before, but you do it both. You're going to shape it before and you're going to shape it even after, because we still want it to fit to our sidewalls. We don't want the tip hanging off the sidewalls. So make sure that it does align with your sidewalls and nothing is hanging off. Again, we're going to still take in consideration the length of our fingers, the shape of our sidewalls. We've already did the hard work. This is kind of like the end part. We're just going in and fixing any areas that need to be fixed. So again, like I mentioned, what's going to really, like I said, help you to make the kids press-ons is the sizing and fitting. I think that's so important as much as the prep part. Those two hand to hand are definitely important. So I hope you found this video helpful. Like I said, I did have more footage with the glue portion, but it got, cut off and I couldn't upload it. So hopefully some of this was helpful. If you all enjoyed the video, let me know. Also, let me know if any of you still use the glue. Definitely still let me know down below, and I will make a different video that where I use the glue and kind of show you how to work with that. So let me know, and I'll see you all in my next video. I also have a link and a coupon code that you all can use on your Kiss Press On orders. I will leave that in my description as well. Just give you a minute to upload the code.